Coming up on The Given Right, Mark is after a buck they call One More Year.
I am shaking. All right. That's one more year. I think he's bigger than I thought he was.
The life of a hunter. It's not about an end result. It's about a journey to find who we are, to discover where we've come from. It's an effort to overcome challenge and adversity. We provide food for the table while fighting to restore the foundations our forefathers have laid. They may bend, but they will not break. And so we fight with a heart of respect. You see, it's not an effort to look down on anyone, but rather an effort to look back at where we've come from, and most importantly, where we'll be if we don't. You see, it's our life. You can stand with us, or you can stand against us. But the life of a hunter is our DNA. We've all come from hunters, and so we continue to move ahead as hunters. You see, this is who we are. This is our creed. This is our life. This is our given right. When someone says, "This is where giants roam," you may not think they are referring to Kansas. And you're probably not thinking of whitetails, but in a hunter's world, this is exactly what we mean. With rich agriculture and low population density, Kansas is a perfect area for growing world-class whitetails. Every time a hunter enters the woods, there is a good chance that he could have a once-in-a-lifetime encounter with a world-class animal. Mark and a few of his friends are working on his farms for the upcoming season.
A lot of people make comments like, "Oh, you got good farms. That's why you guys shoot those good deer on those farms." They don't realize those farms aren't by accident. This is like the third week in a row. First we're up in Minnesota, then we're in Iowa for a week. Now we're here in Kansas, working 12, 14-hour days, putting up tree stands, putting in food plots, patterning our deer already. We've already got coverts all over the place. We got Big and J out. So it's not by accident that these deer happen like this. Yes, properties are in good states, but this is like 10 years on this farm here in Kansas. We've been doing this, and yeah, we get some good deer, but it's not easy. There's a lot of work involved here. So.
Hunting whitetails is no easy task. The season starts in September, but the work begins much earlier than that. Today, these guys are helping Mark get his farm set up for the fall.
Every hunter knows that the more time you put in during the preseason, scouting, getting your places ready, planting food plots, getting your Big and J out, whatever you have to do to make it better for that year will up your odds. And that's one thing I have to hand it to Mark and the guys. They put their time in every year, so whenever I show up, everything is ready to go.
Well, we just set up a new food plot this year. We had a food plot probably about 300 or 400 yards away called the Waterway last year, and we had a spectacular buck that needed one more year, as they say. And so we moved the food plot because we couldn't hunt him last year. So we're all set up this year, hopefully, that we have him on the covert camera. His name is obviously One More Year, because last year they said we couldn't shoot him, but we actually couldn't get on him. So very high expectations. It's only July, but it's likely it should be the rut next week, because we're going home, we're going to take this tip, see what we got.
Mark moves to his next location, which is an old lean-to that has been on the farm forever. It's also a great location from where the food and bedding area are in the area. This makes it a perfect low-pressure site to get into without disrupting the deer.
What a setup, Tyler. from plot to plot. We try to keep a real soft approach on our hunting here on the farms. So nothing on the internal part of the farm ever gets touched. We only hunt on the outsides, but it makes it very difficult to kill some of those big deer. So you got to get a little creative. We're in the old workshop here. Put a stand up on stilts, cut this opening, and we put this one right on the edge. We can walk right in and walk right out. They'll never know we're here. And the covert's showing us that we have a deer called Budweiser and Nomad both come to this spot. We know it's early, it's July, but either way, they're here, and I'm excited. This is the kind of place, though, this is what you got to do. You got to be really creative to kill those big bucks. I'm pumped already. It's only July. That's an issue.
With Big and J, it's not a matter of if your deer will show up, it's simply a matter of when. Big and J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong, the range is super long. As hunters, we ask ourselves, is all of this work worth it? Is all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into what we do worth the outcome of our hunting season? Some people may think we are crazy, but as hunters, it only comes as a way of life. So with all the hard work that has been done during the off-season, the time has come to reap the benefits of our labor. It's Mark's first sit in November, and with the rut in full swing, anticipation is high. Mark spots what looks to be a pretty good buck coming into his rattling.
Now I know what y'all all are thinking. The same thing I'm thinking. Why is Mark passing this deer up? Because y'all know that Kennelly would have already shot him. But Mark gets one tag a year, and he is very, very, very selective in Kansas on what deer he's gonna shoot.
Jacob and I, we're heading over here. We hunted here the other night, Tyler and I did, and we're going on a little food plot here that's up in the middle of this great big pine tree thicket. We've got a beautiful wind tonight. It's overcast, it's cool. I have a really good feeling about tonight. This is the first night that's been cool for us. It's been really warm here, and we got a north wind for the first time in a week. So I think we're gonna have a good night tonight. So let's get up here and get set up.
This piece of property Mark has is very unique. They call it the 160 because it's a tract of land that is 160 acres. It's covered in mainly thick brush that provides cover for deer. It's also surrounded by vast areas of land used for farming. This makes it a perfect area for deer and wildlife because they use this ground as a safe haven. With the pre-rut in full swing, bucks are cruising the edge of the food plots looking for does coming into heat. This will push bucks to fight for dominance and establish their territory.
This is why I love the rut, and this is why Mark loves the rut. Even though these two deer are not a deer that either of us are going to shoot in Kansas, it is still a ton of fun to sit in a stand and watch two deer go at it in their natural state and them never know you're in the tree.
10-point looks to be the more dominant buck in this fight and will push the smaller buck out of the area.
Good night. Just nothing to shoot at, so beautiful night out here.
Swagger. When mobility matters. Any terrain, any situation. Shoot with confidence. Shoot with swagger. The bipod with moves. For most of 2017, Mark and his friends have been prepping his farms in order to try and outsmart a mature buck. They have done everything necessary and have taken all the precautions until the time is right to get a chance at the buck they call one more year.
Well, it's warmed up a little bit this afternoon. It's actually gotten in the mid-40s, almost 50 degrees. It warmed up pretty good. So we have an east wind still, which is a little unusual for us. So we're kind of limited on where we're going to sit. Tonight we're sitting in a very unique blind. It's actually an old lean-to from the equipment from the house that used to be here. And we kind of just put build a blind up in the corner. So with this wind, this is kind of one of the options we got. Tomorrow morning we hit a south wind, so we'll be back on the schedule tomorrow.
Looks like Mark's plan of getting into the blind without any pressure is working. The does are moving early.
Bringing up the rear. Northeast wind blowing opposite direction. How does she know we're in here?
Every hunt is successful in its own right. Even though Mark didn't shoot a deer on this afternoon, I think he learned a lot. The weather was hot, the wind was iffy, the deer that he saw were on edge, but here's the good thing. Tomorrow, it's supposed to cool off, and he has the right wind to go to a stand that he's been wanting to hunt all year.
We're down in the bottom of the most southeastern section of our farm here. This is one of my favorite spots. This is where I get one of my biggest deer ever. So we have a big CRP field that we just planted 3 years ago right behind us. We have a big deer in here. We call him one more year. And he's been frequenting here the last week pretty heavy. So we're going to stay in here all morning, probably till at least lunchtime. We might even stay all day, not sure. Depends on what kind of activity we see. So we'll see how this works out for us this morning. It's one more year. It's one more year.
Oh my God. Oh. That's one more year. I think he's bigger than I thought he was. My biggest buck I ever shot from this stand. Now my second biggest buck shot ever from this stand.
It was a 2-year journey to harvest this buck. The ups and the downs of hunting have finally accumulated to harvesting a mature whitetail. Mark will forever be grateful to take a whitetail that he has such a deep history with. After all is said and done, this buck will be brought back to the barn and processed so that others will be able to enjoy the fruits of the hunt.
Our boy Kenneth's on his way. We just did a little FaceTime with him, rub it in a little bit and tease him. He and Jacob are both on the way. They'll be here tonight, so they'll be hunting tomorrow. Maybe I'll get in a stand with him. Wow, this is just gorgeous. Look at this thing. Beautiful animal. Beautiful animal. Remember, never apologize for the given right to hunt.
Every hunt is defined by a single moment. Don't let the moment define you. Experience perfection and make your next hunt an expedition. Hunting can continually test just about everything in a person all season long. It will make you question if all your hard work is worth it. It can test your willpower to get up each morning before the sun rises, no matter the weather, day after day. Hunting is never-ending exercise in patience and grit, so when everything goes to plan and all the hard work pays off, all the tough times seem to be worth the wait and the agony.
Mark has spent all summer long getting everything ready to hunt this one stand. And he goes in there and shoots the deer that he was going after. Well, when I got there that night, they already had a fire built, sitting around, celebrating and just enjoying the moment. But there was almost a little bit of sadness in Mark's eyes that he knew that he wasn't going to be able to get up the next morning and hunt that deer again.
Holy smokes, dude. Oh my goodness.
That laugh will give you. Hey, we're not getting up.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Hey, what do you think?
Golly. Man, he's all over 125, ain't he? I think you did good. Congratulations,
Thanks,
man. Good to see you.
How's your drive?
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah?
Same as always, long. But
You're late
it's
again. You know, you just...
look, I like to make those, like I said last year, I like to slide in late and leave early.
You're not leaving early. You do know that.
I know that.
You know that.
That's unreal.
So, we have another one like that, but you're not getting anywhere close to it.
Come on, Mark.
Come on over and see the boys. Good to have you back at camp, man.
Congratulations.
Really, thanks,
That's
bud.
a good one.
So you ready to kill deer?
Dude, yeah, like that. I got to get ready to go shoot.
No, you're not
one,
go- you're not
that
go.
one was called One More Year. I want to shoot last year.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Going back to Kansas every year is so much fun. Just such a good time, but this year is extra special. And I'll tell you why. Mark has tagged out and I got every farm to myself.
There's a saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that seems to ring true with hunters. Whether you're chasing a buck of a lifetime or trying to strengthen your deer herd, hunting is what you make it. In this case, Kansas truly is the land of the giants, and for Mark, he takes away much more than harvesting an animal, but a sense of accomplishment, of outwitting an old mature buck, and also doing his part to help strengthen the herd. No matter what you gain from being in the outdoors, always remember that you have the choice to celebrate your given right to hunt.